Welcome, everybody, and it is a real joy to spend a little bit of time with my good friend Sharon Cook and to talk a little bit about how life is at this point. What are we now? We are the 21st of May, 2020. Good grief. In many ways, it feels like forever since the beginning of the year, and yet yesterday. Time has just done this really elastic thing. Sharon is, if anybody ever says to me, finance or business or money or any of those kind of things, Sharon is always my go-to thought person. And I'll let you introduce yourself, Sharon. Tell us a little bit about you and what it is you do.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to see you almost in my living room. It's fabulous. So I'm Sharon Cook and I'm from Choice Business Loans, and we simply help businesses raise money for any purpose. I'd like to say for any purpose. Right now, it's not for any purpose. It's for more survival than thriving. Having said that, Jay, I'm doing some thriving stuff as well, which is quite nice. It's sort of a bit refreshing from the CBILS and BBLs and everything else. But really, that's what we do. We just help business make their cash flow work for them by injecting cash in some way into their business, wherever we may find it from.
Now, when we set this conversation up yesterday, and I've got my fingers madly crossed under my desk here, you said, I'm really looking forward to 2:00. Was 2:00 okay in the end?
2:00 was okay.
Oh, that is such good news. Oh, I'm really pleased, and I'm pleased that the client will also, I'm sure, be thrilled. But so we're in a really funny place, aren't we, right now? And from where you sit and from the world that you're in, how would you describe it in terms of where we are right now? And are you starting to be able to think about the future yet, or is it still too early?
I think our job is to think about the future, Jay, to be fair. We've had to do some really quick, fast learning from our own jobs. So we literally went from one day getting bank accounts and getting people's filed accounts, talking to them, finding about their future and raising money based on that. And we overnight had to change our thought process to say, well, actually, what do we need to do? How can we help these people? Where can we make the understanding from what the government's saying, and everything sort of imploding really quickly. So we had to think on our feet, and we had to make sure that anybody that contacted us didn't make the bad decisions early stage. Of course, as we will all know, that was a bit like a roller coaster 2 weeks. Just crazy. Just if something changed one more time, I swear to God, I think I was going to get in the car and go up to Parliament and give somebody a quick one around the chops. Just like, slow down, guys. Let's do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But kind of doing it quickly like that got that painfulness out the way, I think.
Okay.
So good. And so we kept on top of that, and we also. Well, we hope we supported our clients in ensuring that not just the finance we could help with, but so they could understand a bit about the rent relief or the rate rebates, understand a bit more about the furlough and everything else that was out there. And so we collated all the information and hopefully became a bit of a hub of information for our customers, which was good. And then it was a case of, right, everyone calm down. Let's get to the bottom of what's going to work for everybody. And that's really important as well. So I think we did that rapidly. I think my poor brain just possibly needs a holiday now.
I can imagine. And I'm guessing you've had to kind of, yes, all of the areas that you've dealt with are financial related, but I'm guessing there are areas that you maybe never thought you'd have to get an understanding of to be able to support the people that you talk to.
Definitely. And I think people are very concerned about the future and how this void, I feel like it's almost like everybody's been put into cryogenic stage where everybody is just in limbo, and then talking to people about how the new future looks like, how they can get their business back on track, what kind of things that they can use, helping people just be a sounding point for, I'm not sure I like this word, but pivoting their business as well, and calming people down. It's a very emotive time, Jay, and people have been sad, upset, angry, they want someone to talk to that that can understand what they're going through. And of course, we've been through it too. We're all going through this together. And despite the fact we are working, it doesn't make it any easier.
No.
I'm sat at home with my 3 barking dogs currently. My other half, who's been told he's not allowed to talk for the next half an hour. Bless him. He did give me a cup of tea though, so
awesome. Perfect.
It's a brownie point for that. And so we're all adapting to this massive change. And I think that we're in it together, and seeing people through has been the most enjoyable thing is helping people through it. It's also been one of the hardest things, Jay.
I mean, we're both avid networkers. I mean, we met through networking. We've done that. How important has that effort and that collateral that you've built up over all of those years been during this phase? And are you still connecting with people, or are you just so in the midst of the flames that actually it's just getting to the other side of it? And how do you think that will then adapt coming out the other side?
The network that I've built up has been incredible. The support personally that I've got back from people, just people touching base out of nowhere, has been amazing. And just having that moment with someone that's not about business, not about work, has been personally really wonderful to receive and to give, which has been quite nice. So networking has been absolutely just so powerful, and being able to then communicate through your networks. So to be able to collate that information, pass it on to the network that we've built, for them to pass it on to their people, and to sort of the pay it forward goes from there. I have done some networking online. It's more challenging. I miss the hugs. I miss lunch. I mean, I miss the glass of wine. Is that selfish? Probably.
That's no, probably right. That's good.
That's the wine delivery.
That's the delivery. Yeah, perfect. Good timing.
That's all coming. And I miss that with people. But on the other hand, I haven't got that much time to spend networking on Zoom, etc. But it's fine. But I have done some, and hopefully I've popped into situations where I can give some advice, so people can understand what a CBIL means, understand the bounce back, understand that you can get a CBIL for asset finance and for invoice finance and for everything else, and hopefully giving someone hope. And I get the updates from the government all the time as well. I'm stupidly signed up for it, so I see everything that comes through. But every time there's been an update, I've been able to get it out really quickly to people. So the people who are self-employed, the directors and people who are panicking was like, there's something coming. Yeah. Here's the headline, more detail later. And just giving people hope.
And hope really is that big thing, isn't it? I think that's interestingly, as you know, our 4-legged friend, when we picked her up 2 years ago, it was kind of, well, what are we going to call her? And I said, well, we're going to call her Hope. I was just a sense that there was going to be a need for hope in the next season, and wow, hasn't that been true? Wow, hasn't that been true? So, and thinking about kind of starting to reconnect and building those relationships, I'm intrigued. We've all been forced into this place of virtual networking. We're meeting today in Remo, and as you know, it's a place I'm passionate about, and I'm finding ways of getting people to access it. I've been commissioned today to host a tweet up coming up at the beginning of June, which I'm really excited for the tweeting goddess, no less. Ooh. So I'm really excited to be co-hosting that coming up at the beginning of June. But for me, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the balance between the virtual and the in-person goes as we move forward.
I agree with you, and there's this from a time-saving perspective, travel costs, green, all those things. This is perfect for. But there is something you get when you meet someone. That thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is, but it's like an animal instinct thing, isn't it? When you meet someone, that immediate connection, the liking of somebody, it's something about it that you just can't beat. And we're human beings. We like the personal touch. This is why we
absolutely
bad people. It's why we have families, because we want to be connected. And whilst this is brilliant from 1,000 ways, you can't beat that one-to-one connection.
No, from my point of view, I think that there will be less, so there will be fewer in person. But I think the in person may be just at a different level of depth, and that people will find it'll be growing those connections in a deeper way, rather the kind of the top level speed dating, speed networking thing
Yeah,
will happen virtually. It'll be the more kind of actually let's get together for a couple of hours and really work out how to work together stuff
yeah.
will still need to be done or not need to be done because you can, but will still people by choice will do those things face to face.
I think so, and you do get a deeper connection where, if you've got 4, 5, 6 people in a room where you are collaborating, you want to trust that person you're collaborating with. And whilst a certain amount of trust can be built on the phone,
Yeah.
I do that all the time in my job. If I don't meet every customer as much as I would love to, I wouldn't do anything else. Yeah, and in our fast world, it wouldn't work. But you do build a certain level of trust. But then when you want to take it to that next level, that physical one-to-one connection, I think, is really important, and it won't die.
So to the person who's watching this, who's kind of going, I'm just not sure kind of where we are and where we're moving forward. And again, I will state for the record, it is the 21st of May, and on the 22nd of May, no doubt everything will be very different, but, which is when this is likely to go out. But in broad brushstroke terms, what would you say to those people that are watching this, that are going, what should I be thinking about? What should I be doing?
Yeah. Oh gosh. From a financial perspective, I would be planning. I would be talking to my accountant. I would be engaging with my business advisor, and I'd be looking at how to make things positive moving forward. We don't know when that day is going to be, but if you're not ready for that day, you're weeks and weeks away from it. So I would be preparing myself for that day, whether it's balancing what you can do online with what you did 8 weeks ago, and doing that balancing act and slowly then getting yourself back in. We all know that when we look out of our windows here, everybody has a different feeling. So some people are worried just going out. Other people are like, why work in a supermarket? I meet people all day. I'm fine. I've done this for the last 8 weeks. Nothing's happened to me. So there are different levels of anxiety out there. And I think we, as business people, need to understand that and just levy ourselves to those different levels, engage with the people that currently aren't comfortable leaving, and some shouldn't be leaving their homes because they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
So we have to engage with those people. We have to engage with the people that are coming out of hibernation, engage with the people that just want to get back in with it as well and do it in a safe manner. We need to think about financials moving forward as well, Jay. I would say if everybody's got a government-backed loan, whatever that might be, so they will have a CBIL or a BBL if they've needed it and if they could get it. There are those. If you haven't got one from your bank, give me a shout. But if you've got those things, they are just filling a current financial void. They are not growth money. That's not what they're for. They are survival money.
Yeah.
When we do start the future again, we will see a growth curve, and growth takes money. So you need to work out how you're going to get that money. And when you take a loan out, if you put another loan on top of it, the provider might not give it to you because your debt service cover is not there any longer. So you have to think outside the box. You might have to use products you're not physically comfortable with, or haven't been in the past.
Yeah.
And so talking to advisors like us or anyone, your accountants, to understand actually what those things mean and what they can do for your business will be very powerful. But don't do it in 6 weeks' time when you are ready. You think, I've got to go now. Do it now so you are educated and aware and you know where you're going, and get your ducks lined up. I think that's the same in all businesses. Get your ducks lined up and hit the ground running when you're ready. That would be my advice.
That's brilliant. Well, no, Sharon, I really appreciate that. And it is always such a joy to catch up and have a chat. I'm really pleased that you joined us, and I'll make sure that people are aware of how to get in contact with you. What's the easiest way for them to touch base?
The office phone number or email would be fantastic. We're on VoIP, so we're all connected.
Great.
This thing keeps going off. So I'm sometimes on this, sometimes on my computer, sometimes on this on VoIP, or on my mobile. So at least the phone call will be answered, so we can always call back.
And that number is?
It's 01494 410 125.
Perfect. Brilliant. Well, really appreciate it again, and thank you
Oh,
so much for taking the time.
it's my pleasure, and I will speak to you soon.